What's up, guys? So I've been working on my Toyota still. It's running rich. I decided to take the throttle body off and check it out and clean it. I'm not going to go over how to do that. There's plenty of videos on that, but I am going to add some information about testing the IAC. So it was idling a bit high, and I noticed that here's the throttle body here. Valve. So when it's open, it allows more air through. This is a stopper that controls how much this is left open, and it has an Allen head in here plus this 8mm on the outside to adjust it, and it hits this stopper back here in the back. You can see it maybe right in there. So it hits the arm right down there, right under there. So I noticed that when I looked through it into the sun that there was a little gap through it, and it was idling a bit high, and I wanted it to be completely closed. So in order to adjust it, loosen this up, put an Allen screw. I think it's a 2.5mm Allen screw. So I put an Allen wrench in there and loosened this jam nut off of it and backed it out, and then put it back in until it just touched this, just finger tight, and then gave it slightly more, 90-degree turn, a quarter turn, just to prevent this from sticking closed, because it might stick against the throttle body itself. So put it flush with this, then another quarter of a turn. That'll prevent it from being open, and it'll prevent it from getting stuck, So that's that adjustment. This adjustment can also, you see that this also adjusts this. Now this goes to a vacuum port. You can test if this is working also if you push it in and then hold the vacuum on it, and it should release. Now watch when I take it off. So it still works, you see. So as long as this is working, it's working okay. Same principle here. Push it in until first adjust this one, first adjust that one, and then adjust this one the same way until it just touches it, then tighten it up. There's no need to push it in further because otherwise it's going to hold it open, so just make sure it touches that one and then jam it up. Same thing here, 2.5mm Allen on the outside, on the inside, and then a 8mm nut, lock nut on the outside. Okay, once I adjusted that, I was satisfied that it was closed all the way, so I think it'll idle better now, so it won't be too open. I also cleaned all of this out with some throttle body cleaner, carb choke cleaner, whatever. Cleaned out all of the gunk as best, the carbon buildup and such, as best I could. And then I took the IAC valve off. Here's the IAC valve, and it mounts to here. I'm going to reuse this gasket. It doesn't look that great, but I don't think it's leaking. I might add some gasket sealer along this edge because this is the water port. This fits like this. So water goes through these two hoses and controls when this opens. Has a temperature thing. And I may add some sealer just to prevent the water from going in here into the air. But other than that, I think it should seal okay. And here's your IAC valve. So I will talk about this. So we're going to disassemble this. You can take this off. Oftentimes this will be very much carbon buildup inside here and in there. So I sprayed all of that out, cleaned it out. But most people just spray this out and are done with it. But it really demands more inspection. You notice there are 2 screws on the back here and 2 screws in the front. So we'll take these out so we can inspect this part of it. So you will need a Phillips screwdriver to take these out. So we'll take this screw out, and I'll show you what this part does, and then we'll test it. Nothing really to do here on this side, but we will take the screws out. And you'll notice that it's magnetically stuck to it. See that? So this is a magnet on both sides. This is an electromagnet, actually, so when you apply voltage to one of these two terminals, 2 of these 3 terminals, it applies a magnetic field which rotates this. And you can see this is how this works. This is open, this is closed, open, closed, open, closed. On this other side, you see I have these screws loose, and it's moving that also. So this has a little bit of adjustment, whether you want it a little bit more closed or a little bit more open. We'll take these screws out so you can see what's in here, and then we'll put it back together and see if it's working. Mine was stuck. It would not open. So we'll take this side out. This is the spring. You can see here. So it had some gunk and stuff. I also sprayed it off. Just a piece of plastic with a spring on it. And inside, there's another plastic piece. We'll get that out. And you can see in here. So here's your arm. Notice that it has so it sits like this on the bottom. It has a stopper on this one side. See, it's very loose. When I first took it out, it was very hard to turn. So I sprayed the inside out with some carb cleaner and got all the dirt and grime out of it. And then I put some slight lubricant, in there to keep it lubed up because I want it to be loose. So it won't be stuck. So you can see that it should be loose like this so it can turn, so the electromagnet can turn it. When you put the magnet on, it has a certain orientation. You can see that it's faced downward here. That's not the orientation you want because it can be like this, or it can be like that, up. This is the orientation that you want it in, so your valve is slightly closed, should have a slight opening in it, as you can see. This is where you want to set it up. Okay, but we'll take it out for now so you can look at it. So you definitely want to make sure this is clean and that it can move freely. Maybe put some lubricant, clean it out, put some lubricant in it. This is an adjustment screw, but you see that it has a silicone cap or something in there where it's not meant to really be adjusted, so I don't think that it needs adjustment. Nevertheless, this part goes like this. So this is going to go in here like that, such that this part goes over that set screw, and your arm, your lever inside there, will fit in this area on the top. And you can see that it's slightly slanted up at the top, so it can go like this up here in this area. So when you put it back together, you want to make sure that it's in this orientation, up and like this, like that. To help you hold it in place, you can put this on there. And see, it's in the down position, so I'll rotate it up and put it in the up position. Like that. See, now the magnet's helping to hold it up. I don't have any screws in it, it's just holding it in there with the magnet. And now we'll put this in there. This is pretty much symmetrical. It doesn't really matter which way this goes, but it has to go like this. So we'll put this in there like that. Now remember, this is going to go up to meet that side, so we're going to put it in like this. And wiggle, and then it locks into place there. Okay. Now, we're going to put the screws back in it, and I'll show you how to test it. So I'm just going to start the screws in there, nothing fancy. And I will just put one screw into this one to hold this in place. Okay, just snug it in. Okay, now we have it back together. You can see that there's a slight gap in here. And now we can test it. And the way this works, this applies a voltage to, like I said, two of these terminals, either the outside two or these outside two. The center is your power and the other one is where it's going to. So we're putting power on the center one and then going to test the top terminal and the bottom terminal. One side will open it, the other side will close it, as we'll see. So we'll be able to test this. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what's going on. So I have these leads that I'm going to set up on this battery. The big one is ground, so we'll just hook that there like that. And we'll hook this one here like this. And then I'm going to hook my terminals onto it. These are little test terminals that I have from other projects. You can use any kind of wire. You just want to hook the battery to it. Okay, I'm going to hook the positive terminal to the center lug. And then I'm going to touch the black one to the top one. And you can see, hopefully, that closes. I can adjust how much it closes by pushing this. So if I push this, rotate this all the way up, it probably won't close because it's running up against the spring. It doesn't close, but if I rotate it down, then you can see it shutting down there. So it's definitely working that side. And if we go hit the bottom one, it should open. And you can see that there, it opens. Now I'm just using 9 volts. It's not going to move very much. This is typically running 12, 14 volts, so it's going to move it a little bit more. It's going to provide a bigger magnetic field on it. This is I don't even know how much volt charge this battery has, but you can definitely see that it opens there. So we affirm that this is working. Here's the open direction. Here's the closed direction. So it's closing there, and here it's opening. So I'd say it's working. So now I'm going to put it back together, and hopefully it'll run a little bit better. Just maybe some information for you that want to clean out your own IAC valve. That's pretty much how this works. There's really nothing that can go wrong with this apart from it being stuck and maybe the electromagnet not working, it being shorted out somehow. But it's pretty easy to test just with a simple 9-volt battery, so you can see if it's working at all or not in both directions. Hope you enjoyed it.